Hey, hi everyone. It's Lorelei with Radiate Life with Lorelei, and I'm just coming on to do a quick live today. We're doing a beautiful end of the year, um, like meditation, global dedication, and I'm looking forward to it. So I got dressed up today a little bit. Happy New Year, everybody! I have my it's Beatles here, but it's my bee. Can you see the bee there? The bees. It's the bees. It's my bee. My a little black dress with my little bees. I just wanted to again say I just wanted to come on and say thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your beautiful light, your presence. Thank you for your struggles. Thank you for your um, willingness not to give up. I still have to fix my backing here. Thank you for your willingness to be here. Thank you for your willingness to be honest with yourself and authentic with yourself. And this has been a year of tremendous resilience. And resilience can only be gained through, I don't want to use the word struggle, but it feels tough. It can feel like you're. One minute you have the upper hand, and on the other minute you're surrendering. 2024, it's a good time if you haven't done this before, just to kind of sit back and reflect. And what are the high points? I usually take two lists, and I'll do like write on a piece of paper, what are my highlights, maybe my top 10 highlights, the first 10 that come to me. And if I'm going through my highlights and something comes up and it was something that it was a part of it was one of the steps in my journey to get me someplace, but it's something that I'm ready to leave behind. Or something that maybe still has a little bit of an ouch. I think about it. And that's why you would know. I guess that's a question that would come to me if I'm talking to one of my young adults or one of my emerging adults or my teenagers, and say, well, how would you know if it has something left? What do you mean, does it have something left? Well, when I think of that situation, or I see that person's face, or I see myself, feel myself, smell the scent of being in that particular place, how am I feeling? Am I okay? Can I let it go? Sometimes it's easier to do that with objects. So you could start with like things in your room. You think about things in your car. Start with a small space, maybe your bathroom. Maybe it's easy to go through things that don't have a lot of value. There's not a lot of expense. You can kind of go through them, and it's easy to visualize when they're organized and when they're not. And not only being organized, but if it's just you, are the things in the place where you most likely to reach for them? Or if you were going to walk in there and tell someone where the scissors are, or where the Q-tips are, or where the toothpaste is, or where the backup toothpaste is, could you tell them and would be predictable and then be able to find it? A lot of times we use life because of that, because it's easier for us to say things that are relatable. But if we're only looking at the surface of things, then we really miss the finer details. Okay. But it's important to have both, right? You think of a child and teaching them organization. I love the kindergarten classrooms and a Montessori classroom, because there's the invitation to explore, and it's easy to pick things up and put them away. And you have the invitation to explore, and then it also feels good to put things away, put things back, and be able to be centered and peaceful. So that's the kind of thing for the end of the year. And again, there are many ways to do that. This year, moving forward in the community of Radiate Life with Lorelei, we're going to be talking a lot about these practical things in life and what the deeper meaning is, right? So there are some people who will just live on the surface. Maybe they're children. Maybe it's a good example of when you are in that state of being a child and not having a lot of responsibilities other than to be creative, and there are things that you learn about your self-care, right? Maintaining your personal space and your care. And that's pretty much what you need to be responsible for, right? It's important at that growth stage. And it's the same thing for yourself to see what growth stage you're at. And it's really about moving into a growth stage for you and creating a network, creating a community, creating connections in different communities to help you move forward. Things are going to, you're going to uncover things in moving forward. Okay. So like this end of the year, I said, sit down and write the things that come to mind that, or come to your heart, or things that you look around that you've kept that were important to you, and start making a list and write them on a piece of paper or color them and set them in one pile. And then as these things come up, things that you haven't worked through, or there was a tough conversation you needed to have that you haven't had yet, then write those on a piece of paper and ask that they be released. Like, ask yourself to release them from yourself. That is the first step. Or to say, I forgive myself, or I forgive this person. And it doesn't have to get too heavy into it, to belief systemy. Let your heart, let your inner child say, oh, I'm sorry, I stepped on your foot. Okay, I stepped on your foot accidentally. Easier to say I'm sorry. Okay, I stepped on your foot on purpose to get your attention. I'm sorry, but I am sorry, you know, and kind of work through that process for yourself, right? It's really about this last month. I've been crocheting, and I haven't crocheted in a while. So a bunch of my yarn was in knots. And there was one day that I sat down for 6 hours and took all the yarn that was in all these different places that got all mixed together and knotted and out of shape, and just took them one by one by one. And then I would like spread them out and figure out how to pull one out. The bigger I made the area, a table or a whole floor, the easier it was for me to pull one yarn out, set it aside, and go through the knots of the others. And there was a point in which I did cut a few, but that always, if I have to get to the point where I'm cutting a few, I know I'm not getting long strands. So there was just like at the very end, I'm like, I'm at the end. This is what I'm going to do. Let me experiment and see what that would be like. I'm like, oh, no, it was worth the time and effort to take that. So as I'm untangling all the physical yarn, I feel myself untangling and letting loose and figuring out, where does this start? Where does this end? It's on a very visceral experience. It's like organizing something, organizing cords, or organizing crayons or art material, organizing your clothes, organizing the trunk of your car, organizing your desk at work so that you could come to work and you know what your goals are, you know what you need to be doing. And it's very easy to be in the flow, to have fun, to push in when you need to lean back when you can, and to really enjoy the process. So that's what I did. That's what you might enjoy. That one name that I've learned that it was called in metaphysics is metaphysical thinking, which is taking some simple act that we're doing and creating an inner purpose for it. And the inner purpose was for me to clear my space, to sort my things out, and in my own life, because they represented a number of things, but a lot of probably demands and things that other people put on me. And that I, being a mom, being a partner, being a business owner, I'm in my beginning stages, that first 2-year period of a business. There's a lot of work that goes into that. It can be a lot of reward, but it's really important to balance that, to balance out the energy that you go into that work and what you actually receive from it. So it should be supporting, even if it's not supporting me physically yet. There are other things that it has done, like help me improve my health in ways, having more energy, being able to take more risks, being able to say things like, that is something that I'm not going to be able to do. That is something that you can do. And what I could do is help you, teenager or young adult, support you in figuring out how you're going to accomplish that. Or for me, accepting, okay, they're not going to accomplish that, and simply letting that go. So some more holding boundary spaces is what that looks like. But it's really, I am somebody who is really good about doing that. I am a natural cheerleader. I am a natural teacher. I am somebody that loves to learn and understands that people, what does it mean to be a teacher? Well, I think it's something that really, it's ingrained in you. It means like you're the kind of person who likes to learn something, or you might learn how to do math, or you might learn how to crochet, or you might learn a particular kind of art, but you also like to learn it a different way. When I was in sports, I was predominantly right-handed, and I did have an injury, so I had to learn how to write left-handed, and I also learned how to kick with my left foot and reintegrate both sides of my body equally. So, as a high school athlete at the top of my game, I realized that my next level would be to have be as just as good with my left foot as I was with my right, and so switching off back and forth so people would not be able to, or defensive people would not know which was my better side. And oftentimes I saved balls, or I was really uplifting and inspiring for me to work with my teammates, and a lot of camaraderie around that. And that was a personal best that I did for myself, not because somebody told me to do it, not because I read it, because it just really felt good. So that's what this year is about. It's good to say, what are the good things that happened? Even if it feels like right now things are not great, or things are not good, or things are terrible. Myself, there's lots of things that are still active. But every day I get up and it's a good day, and say, why is it a good day? And how am I going to make this a good day? And what are the things that I can do? And what are the things that I can't do? And pour myself into things that I can do. And the things that I can't do, I can send people love. I can send people support. I can believe in people. I can write them notes. I can do whatever it is that I'm inspired to. That's what I'm encouraging you this year, is not so much about resolutions, although I do kind of make resolutions in the fact that there's things I want to change. And so I put a plan together and I start changing it. I immediately put those things into action, but then I give myself a week to really being able to lean into whatever that change was that I wanted to happen every day. So I do have my global net meditation I have to get ready for, but I did want to come in here and give you a hello and a quick happy new year, and enjoy this time and enjoy this new flow. I do want to end on this by saying that this to me is kind of an open door. It's an opening. It's a good, in society we celebrate it as an ending and a new beginning. There's other cultures that live closer to the earth have always lived closer to the earth. And so especially where I am, we're just getting into winter. This is not the time that we're supposed to be cutting down calories. This is not the time in which we're supposed to be doing extra cardio. This is the time in which we're supposed to be loving and kind. This is the time when there's been some things that have been really tough and it seems like they haven't changed. Now's the time to say, maybe it looks like it's not changed on the outside, but I certainly can change my relationship, my belief, my understanding about it. And if I can change myself, the situation can change. And that's kind of what our winter is about. Where I live in the Midwest of the United States of America. So yeah, that says a lot right there too. Like, we have a lot going on, and we just have to get busy. We have to love ourselves and not push ourselves to the point of break. We have to be sustainable. We have to think smart. We have to love fully. We have to hold our boundaries, because ultimately it gives other permission to set and hold their boundaries, even if other people don't like it or can't agree with it. It's simply that they need to do the same thing for themselves. It's not something we can do for them. But the best thing that we can do for our loved ones is to demonstrate that, even if they don't like it, even if they're wanting more from us than what we can give, that is more loving and more respectful and more kind to ourselves and to them, to be strong, to be self-sovereign, because they will find another way. That is the ultimate thing that I have learned in my life, whether it is from my early days of marketing and teaching, or raising my own kids, or working in community, which is my favorite thing to do, is over and over again, when I'm not the solution to everything, or someone else is not the solution, what happens is we get more creative. We see things that we never saw before. And this is what unraveling those things is about, and about doing the best we can, and accepting that and continuing to move forward with an open heart and open hands and create your life and your self sovereignty. Happy 2025.